Good morning, everyone, from the Canine Concierge Transport here for Hydrant Club. It is Thursday. Yeah, I think it's Thursday the 6th of July. And I saw a post yesterday that is one of those posts that I'm torn between two very powerful and equally weighted emotions. Absolutely so upsetting, so devastating and sad, and fury. There is a daycare facility, a daycare and boarding facility in Tampa, Florida, called Lucky Dog. I don't know if it is a chain. I don't know if it is a franchise. I believe it is an owner-operated business there. And I mention the name because in this case, it merits noting. And it was all over the news. So they had a fatality over the weekend. It was their second fatality in as many weeks. Apparently the first dog didn't need to die either. This case was a French bulldog who died of heat stroke. Her body temperature was 109 when she got to the vet. So there are so many things wrong. Now, I will put in one disclaimer here, which is that the owners of the facility have refused to speak to the press. They have not spoken publicly, at least as of late last night. I had not seen any statement from them, comment from them, nothing. The media reports all said that they declined to speak to the press, and that they defended the fact that that it wasn't negligence. So the situation is this: the dogs were all outside in the morning, and the staff is instructed to bring all of the dogs in at 11 a.m. The overhead shots of the facility show an outdoor area with very, very little shade. Tiny little pieces of shade, and the surface is, it looks like from the photographs I've seen, fake turf. Man-made surfaces absorb heat. They absorb heat in pretty fierce fashion, and turf gets very, very hot, especially when it's not shaded. Even in the shade, it'll retain some temperature to it, but at least if you block it from direct sunlight, it's not scalding. So, I didn't check and see what the Tampa temperatures were over the weekend, but I'm gonna gather they were in the 90s, probably with 60 to 70% humidity, because that's how things roll in southern Florida. Take that, add to it reflective heat off of buildings, reflective heat off the turf, and the heat out there was probably blistering. Those dogs shouldn't have been outside for more than 10-15 minutes at a pop in an outdoor area like that. To designate a time when the dogs come in is negligence in and of itself. I'll give you an example. I am in Las Vegas. If I said dogs should come in at 11 o'clock, what that would mean right now is that dogs would be outside in 103 degrees of heat, because it is right now at 8 o'clock in the morning, 103. It's hot. So let them outside to go to the bathroom and get them back inside. Keep them cool. You have to keep their... And this doesn't even count brachycephalic dogs, which is a word I just enjoy saying because it sounds super important. Brachycephalic meaning constricted muzzles. So bulldog, French bulldog, pug, Pekingese, Shih Tzu, Boston Terrier, all of the dogs, many of the Mastiff breeds with those constricted muzzles. They have a very, very hard time regulating their body temperature, because dogs regulate their body temperature through panting, the surface area of their tongue, and through the pads of their feet. So you need to keep their temperature regulated. You need to aid them in situations where their naturally occurring regulation mechanisms don't fully operate or can't operate to the level that they need to. heat stroke happens very, very fast in brachycephalic dogs. Very, very fast. Here's where they committed a couple of unconscionable issues. First of all, like their outdoor area is just, the design of it is crap. If you are taking your dog to a facility with an outdoor space, which I'm hoping you do, that it has some manner of outdoor space, make sure that it's shaded if you're in an area where it gets hot. Make sure they have some cooling mechanisms outdoors for the dogs. Make sure the indoor-outdoor space is contiguous, that the dogs can get in and out and that they're brought in and out. Apparently, the staff there, the ratio of handler to dog is 1 to 40. Yeah, you heard me right. 1 handler to 40 dogs. That's insane. It should be against the law, and in a lot of states it is. Actually, I won't say a lot of states. In a number of states it is. In the Silver State of Nevada, for example, there is no regulation, so it is self-regulation. And there's a facility here in town that's got, they tell you 1 to 25 when you call and ask them on the phone. What I witnessed on a couple of kind of drop-bys was something closer to it was about 1 to 75 one day and 1 to 50 on another day. Now, in those cases, many of those dogs were in crates, kennels, and cages, so they were separated out. But how can you be managing a pack of dogs and monitoring dogs in crates, kennels, and cages? You can't, because you have to leave that pack of dogs in order to manage that pack. How do you get all of those dogs into their crates, cages, and kennels safely? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't even we've got 1 to 15. If it's a super senior handler, you may see between 15 and 18 dogs with a handler, but it's going to depend on the makeup of the dogs. You can't just, you should have a rough mandate on the ratio, and then it needs to be customized based on the pack of dogs that you have. And in places where you have no breed restriction, you've got no size restriction, and you've got a mixed space like we do, you have to be super, super strict. They say they fired a bunch of people that day. A bunch of the staff actually walked out, which tells me that the management is not doing their job. That family did not have to lose their dog. And what makes the whole thing worse is that another dog died a week before. Now, why this place hasn't been shut down by animal control blows my mind. Blows my mind. And why the owners haven't taken a more proactive action on it, I don't know. Probably because they know they're wrong. So, or they have shitty legal advice. So, I don't know. Folks, if you're entrusting your dog's care to somebody, ask a lot of questions. What's their training? Do they know CPR? Do they have a vet nearby they can go to? Do they know the signs of heat stroke? Do they know the signs of bloat, of torsion? Do they know how to stop a dog fight from happening? Do they know how to break one up if one breaks out anyway? How do they handle it if a dog ingests something it shouldn't? What kind of training do their handlers go through before they're allowed to touch a dog? I went to one place here, 3 hours of online study, and then they're thrown in to handle 30 dogs. Would you want one of those people handling your dogs? I sure as shit wouldn't. So, if you wouldn't entrust your human child to someone, the chances are likely you shouldn't be entrusting a canine to them either. So, just think, folks. Please be careful. Please be cautious. If something doesn't smell right, if it doesn't look right, if it doesn't feel right, it's because it isn't right. If there's an area of the facility that they will not let you see, ask them why. Some facilities have parts of the facility that are shut off because they have dogs there that can't be exposed. That's all perfectly valid. But I've got no problem with somebody seeing my trash enclosure. I have no problem with someone seeing my kitchen or where we keep our cleaning supplies. What they're going to find are, bottles of cleaning supplies that are put away neatly with no drips and oozing, with a surface that's clean. They're not going to find things with caps off and things sitting on the floor. They're going to find the place immaculate. And if they don't, if I walk through and I don't find it that way, someone's going to be read the riot act. So just be mindful. Think about it. You're talking about the life of a family member. I mean, if you don't care, that's your business. But most of the people I know care. And if you're watching this video, it's because you care. So.